And ABC News national security and defense analyst Mick Mulroy joins me live now, along with ABC News contributor and USA Today columnist Christine Brennan for more. Christine, what are you hearing from Griner's inner circle now that she's finally back in the U.S.?
There's great joy, Diane. Obviously, she's on U.S. soil again. That's even better news than they had 24 hours ago. And I think there's great relief when the WNBA commissioner, Kathy Engelberg, spoke to reporters yesterday. She talked about the team effort, the WNBA, working with Brittney's lawyers, obviously, Sherelle Griner, working with NBA players, getting those NBA players to speak up. And the WNBA, I think, feels terrific today that they, as a league, did something that very few leagues would ever do, which is have a full-throated, wholehearted effort, public relations effort, if you will, to keep Brittney Griner's name in the news month after month after month. You know, the conversation early on, we had it and others had it, was if this were a top male athlete, wouldn't there be more attention? This would have been in March and April and May. Of course, like LeBron James, Tom Brady, what have you. Well, the WNBA players took care of that and elevated Brittney Griner's name and made sure that people didn't forget her. So I think they're celebrating it with, and also understanding that Brittney has a potentially long road. They talked all about the mental health evaluations, the physical evaluations. No one is pressing her to do anything right now in terms of coming out, talking to people, doing any media. Just, be calm and get better, make sure you're okay. And at some point, they all can't wait to see her.
Now, Mick, the relationship between the U.S. and Russia is at its lowest point in decades. How significant is this agreement in that context, and what could it mean for the relationship moving forward?
So, Diane, I think you're right. We are definitely at the low point of our relationship. I don't think it's going to do much to change that. I think the war in Ukraine is obviously going to continue to rage, and we're going to continue to support the Ukrainians in that endeavor. And I don't think this is going to change that much. But it's going to make it more difficult, quite frankly, going forward, because the Russians are going to think they have a lot of leverage when it comes to getting Paul Whelan back, something that we really must do and really have to focus our efforts on now.
Now, Christine, the WNBA played a big part in building support for Griner's return, drawing attention to this case. How significant was that in getting her home?
I think it was everything, Diane. And, when you consider that it seems like little things, right? Her number 42 was emblazoned on every court, all 12 courts of the WNBA teams. The players in the All-Star game at halftime switched to her jersey and all wore number 42 for the second half. They, as I said earlier, enlisted NBA players like Steph Curry, LeBron James, to speak out. That's something that would never have happened 10 or 15 years ago with a women's sport. No way. Those guys wouldn't even known the name of their female counterpart. And now Brittney Griner became a household name. Who would have ever thought that? She should have been a household name because a two-time Olympic gold medalist and 8-time WNBA All-Star, but we don't care as much about women's sports as we do about men's sports yet in this nation, and maybe we never will, certainly professional sports. The NBA got a big head start, decades over the WNBA. That's understandable. And so they did the impossible. I mean, they really did. They elevated a female athlete and her story. Now, there was some talk early on. Was it too much? Did they make her too valuable to Putin? And obviously the history books will be written, and the analysis is going on now about the trade and everything that's non-sports related. But I'll stick to sports. From that standpoint, they did their job, even if it did elevate her to the point where she became such a prize for Putin versus an unknown American or a potentially unknown athlete, which is, I think, what they felt. They had a star, but nowhere near the star power, the megawatt star power that she became over these last few months.
So let's put that to Mick then. Mick, the administration is facing some criticism for releasing a convicted Russian arms dealer in exchange for an athlete accused of having hashish oil in her luggage. So was this a bad deal? Should the U.S. have pushed harder?
I imagine we pushed as hard as we could. And quite frankly, Russia said it's either you get one American back or none. And I can't imagine that we would make a decision to leave an American who essentially was a political prisoner in a Russian prison camp. So I think they made the right decision. I know they're going to criticize for it. It does inspire other countries around the world to grab Americans for the same purpose. They're essentially I mean, Paul Whelan, I mean, the charges against him are ludicrous. You know, a spy does not go around with a thumb drive full of names of spies. It's a sham trial. They don't care. So they're grabbing Americans that they know we're going to want back, which is all Americans, quite frankly, but certainly former Olympians and U.S. Marines are going to be pretty high on that list. So they're going to continue to do that. It's a problem. I don't know how exactly we're going to address it.
All right, Christine Brennan, Mick Mulroy, thank you both.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.